Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about relationships and sex and the how and the why behind these things, especially in long-term relationships. I'm Dr. Diane Mueller, I'm a libido expert. And one of the reasons why sex and relationships are so important, in particular long term, it's really easy in the beginning when things are new and there's all that novelty and excitement. It's really easy to engage sexually, usually because we have this dopamine, we have this desire, and there's all of this unknown. And the human body is really designed to release a whole chemical of cocktails when things are new, when things are unknown, that there's a lot more excitement, there's a lot of more drive and desire many times. But this can start fading away in longer term relationships. So one of the things I want to address in this particular video is why it's important to continue to prioritize sex. And so why it's important is because it really impacts, and this is from research, it really impacts bonding and attachment. So it allows us to feel a sense of secure, hopefully secure attachment to our partner, because we are opening up to our partner. We are letting them see us in this intimate way that we are not showing to other human beings. So in this particular scenario, we are really exposing our underbelly, our soft underside to our partner, letting them see us, letting them, touch us in a very deep and hopefully profound way. So there's also the hormone oxytocin, which I know many of you have heard about. I talk about oxytocin a lot on this channel. And oxytocin, a lot of people think of as the love hormone, the bonding hormone, and it does do that. And that is part of why intimacy is so important with a partner, is because it does create this love hormone, this chemical cocktail that is actually helping with love. This is one of the reasons why some people believe that sex can be a barometer of a healthy relationship. That's true sometimes, it's not true all the time, but it is an important part that for a lot of couples can be related to the health of a relationship, is a healthy sex life. And for many people, there's a decline when the relationship starts falling and not being as exciting and fulfilling, that oftentimes sex can decline as well. And so having and maintaining that proper sex life can really help maintain a relationship. And this is also part of the reason when we think about makeup sex, right? So a lot of people will talk about, how makeup sex is the hottest sex. And some of this is because you are coming back together. There's all of these hormones, but you're also coming back together in this bonded way after there's maybe been an energetic or emotional rift between, the two individuals. So another really important component of why maintaining the sex life is so important is because of other things that oxytocin hormone can do. So oxytocin can help reset stress hormones. It can really help with overwhelm. It can really get people into a much calmer space where if difficult conversations need to happen, where if something's bothering you and you're feeling upset and having a hard time talking to your partner, sometimes after a large amount of oxytocin is being released, it will actually lower those stress hormones and allow you to be in a state where it's a lot easier to have these difficult conversations, which is also connected to that bonding. So it does become, for most people, a really important thing to continue to prioritize healthy sex life in a long-term relationship, which brings me to the next question I get asked so much, which is, well, how do I do this? Sometimes when you're together with somebody for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, there's, not a lot that feels like novel and exciting anymore. And sometimes with the stress of life and all the different things that we take on, it can be very difficult to prioritize sex. One of the things that I strongly recommend, and especially if you are overwhelmed, if you have a lot on your plate, if you're in a midlife or later period of your life where sometimes probably around bedtime you're feeling pretty tired, oftentimes midday sex or sex before dinner can be a really great time to have sex. And this is because oftentimes when you do this at this time of day, there's more energy, right? There's more vitality. And so it's not this last thing you're doing where you have to mentally talk yourself into it because you're so tired and what you really want to do is sleep, right? So we want to actually consider earlier in the day. We also want to think about scheduling it. And sometimes people are like, oh man, scheduling just sounds so unsexy. But here's the thing. You schedule other important things in your life, right? So it's like if you're a family and if you do family dinners, you probably have a time that you sit down for dinner together. Kids' practices are scheduled, work meetings are scheduled. If you go to the gym, which I hope that you do exercise, you probably are looking at your schedule on a day-to-day basis. Where do you fit in your exercise? So all of these things get scheduled, right? Sex is no different. And if we're scheduling all these other things and prioritizing these other things, but we're not actually scheduling sex, it's really easy for it to just become that last thing at the end of the day where you're so tired and it doesn't get done. So especially in long-term relationships, looking at when in the day is actually going to be the most healthy and beneficial time that you are likely to stick to this with your partner, scheduling it, looking for things that are novel and new in your partner is a really big thing. And then look out for my other video on how to communicate with your husband about sex. If you're a woman listening to this, my channel is really devoted mostly to women here. So if you're a woman listening to this, that's why that video is called that, because when it really comes to relationships and sex, so much is connected to communication. And one of the things that I love so much in the women that I work with is that oftentimes when we start to learn to communicate better with our partner about sex, oftentimes we learn to communicate with our partner about so many other things. So it's a practice for many other things in life. So hopefully this has been helpful. I will see you in another video. Please do subscribe to this channel and don't keep me a secret if it's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.